President Obama says Iran's pathway to a bomb has been cut off. His critics already expressing their doubts this morning.
That's right. It's our breaking news this morning. Let's get right to it. This historic agreement between the U.S., Iran, and 5 other nations. It's supposed to freeze Iran's pursuit of a nuclear weapon in its tracks. As Willie just mentioned, the deal is being praised by the president, but not by everyone. NBC's senior White House correspondent Chris Jansing's got all the details from the White House. Chris, good morning to you.
Good morning, Savannah. This is a major diplomatic victory for President Obama, a defining moment in his presidency, a deal he said this morning makes the world a safer place. One senior White House official just described this as an incredibly complex Rubik's Cube, that they were watching all the twists and turns, waiting for the pieces to fall into place. Well, now that they have, the White House doesn't have time to savor the end of 18 days of almost nonstop negotiations. The president has to sell the deal, and he's begun to Congress, to the American people, and to the world. This morning, John Kerry and his fellow ministers, weary but happy, celebrating a deal to reduce Iran's nuclear ability in exchange for relief from economic sanctions. They had talked for 18 days until early this morning before reaching final agreement. Just before midnight, Secretary of State Kerry called the president, who spoke about the historic deal earlier this morning.
Put simply, no deal means a greater chance of more war in the Middle East.
The agreement requires Iran to limit its nuclear program for 10 years and its nuclear research for 15 years. Convert an underground nuclear facility that the U.S. and Israel feared could not be bombed into a peaceful research center. Lift a UN ban on conventional weapons in 5 years and ballistic missiles in 8 years or sooner. Grant more access and online monitoring to UN inspectors. Sanctions would be lifted only once Iran complies with the nuclear requirements.
I believe this is a historic moment. We are reaching an agreement that is not perfect for anybody, but it is what we could accomplish, and it is an important achievement for all of us.
Iran's President Rouhani resisting his country's hardliners, making a deal with his country's longtime enemy, the United States, and telling his nation their prayers had come true. But in Israel, swift condemnation from Prime Minister Netanyahu, who called it an historic mistake for the world.
The militant Islamic State of Iran is going to receive a sure path to nuclear weapons.
Benjamin Netanyahu is obviously a very powerful voice in this deal as it heads into the next phase. The president already facing a skeptical Congress that has 60 days to review it. And he warned this morning that if they take steps to scuttle the deal, he would veto any legislation. So get ready for a big fight. It could actually start to look like a campaign, and already money is pouring in. Savannah?
And it's happening during a presidential campaign as well. Chris Jansing at the White House, thank you.